Climate risks are driving up borrowing costs. A new study published in Oxford Open Economics finds that climate vulnerable countries, collectively known as the V20, face higher interest rates on their sovereign debt due to the financial risks associated with climate change. Between 2007 and 2016, these developing economies incurred an estimated $62 billion in additional interest payments, a direct result of investor perceptions that climate exposure increases financial risk. What the study found. Researchers from Oxford University and the University of London analyzed how climate vulnerability influences the cost of borrowing. They determined that V20 countries, including the Philippines, Bangladesh, and Kenya, pay, on average, 1.17% more in interest than less vulnerable nations. While this percentage may appear modest, the effect across billions of dollars in loans is substantial. For countries already contending with floods, droughts, and hurricanes, the added cost limits resources available for critical investments such as infrastructure, clean energy, education, and healthcare. This phenomenon, often referred to as the climate debt penalty, creates a reinforcing cycle. As climate impacts intensify, affected nations are forced to borrow more to rebuild. Yet that very borrowing becomes increasingly expensive because investors view these countries as higher risk. Pathways to lower costs. The study offers an important insight. Investing in readiness, including education, digital infrastructure, innovation, and social equity, can help reduce borrowing costs. Improving social and economic resilience signals to investors that a nation is managing its risks effectively, which can lower interest rates and enhance access to capital. The International Monetary Fund has reached similar conclusions, observing that countries with stronger climate adaptation and resilience strategies experience smaller increases in bond spreads following major climate shocks. Why it matters for business and finance leaders. For corporations, banks, and investors operating in emerging markets, the implications are significant. Climate vulnerability has become a financial variable. Companies sourcing materials, building infrastructure, or managing operations in V20 nations could face elevated financing costs as sovereign-level risk premiums ripple through private sector lending. At the same time, sustainability-linked and green bonds tied to measurable climate readiness goals are proving effective in mitigating perceived risk. When proceeds are directed toward resilience initiatives, such as flood-resistant infrastructure or clean energy projects, lenders see a reduced likelihood of default, often translating to more favorable rates. This growing intersection between climate risk and capital markets underscores why sustainability officers and chief financial officers are increasingly collaborating on ESG-linked financing strategies. In today's market, resilience is no longer just an environmental benchmark, it is a fundamental financial metric. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites presented by E+E Leader. For partnership opportunities, reach out to a member of our team.